Hello, my name is Chris Robinson. I'll be your instructor for Math 107 this semester. I'd like to give you a tour of what we have on Blackboard, the main site that we'll be using to do our homework, to correspond, to schedule tests, all the activities through the semester. So let me share my screen here and show you a few things about Blackboard. So if you are new to USI, once you log on, you'll have all these apps that you can choose from, and the capital B, little b Blackboard. That's usually what you'll want to access to get into the materials we need. I do want to mention this VT down here, this voice thread though, because sometimes when we do discussion questions, it'd be wise to open that up as well. Just want to mention that while we're headed towards our class. So right now, what it is I have 3 sections of Math 107 that I teach, and I've pulled them all into one where ND1 is sort of the parent course or the mother course for AL1, NO1. So if you're worried that the section number may not be matching up, that's fine. That's fine. If you're listed on the roster with Robinson as your instructor, you're in the right place. So I've tried to set up a start here place, a welcoming area for us on Blackboard. And for the first few days of class, you'll see that this is exactly where you start. But over here on the left, I've got different modules that we can go into. And as we go to about Wednesday, the first week of class, I will start to push this where you start in on the areas where you work in Blackboard. So if you notice that your entry in Blackboard changes in a few days, that's fine. It'll change each time we finish a module or a learning unit in the class. So in Blackboard, I've got a little bit introducing myself. This course overview video, obviously you're already here doing that, but I want to bring your attention to this other item down here for some essential items. A lot of times I get questions about the syllabus, the textbook, the calendar, and what I try to do is bring all that to your attention. So I have created a short discussion of the syllabus with the highlights. It doesn't discuss everything, so I still urge you to look through the syllabus. There are important things in there, but I've tried to split it up so there's maybe 2 or 3 minutes for several different slides to the main ideas from the syllabus, so that if you need to pause, you can do that. And the course textbook, let's talk about that while we're here. We have what we call first day access to our materials. So if you look over here on the far left, underneath the yellow tools, there's a icon for first day access. If you click on that, you have the opportunity. Now, I can't go any further than this because mine would look different than yours, difference between an instructor and a teacher. But you have the opportunity to get an e-text and access to MyLab at what the publisher says is the lowest price out there. So you get the materials as quick as possible when we start class at the best price. Sometimes those students want a physical copy of the textbook, and I can't offer that to you using first day access. That's just not a package that the publisher is offering. So what I've done here is if you want that physical copy, what you'll want to do is opt out of first day access. And I've got a link in this information area to the publisher's website where you can order that. Just make sure you're getting a physical copy, the hard text of the textbook whenever you get that. But all the information you need is there. I'm going to stress this once again. If you decide to opt out of first day access, you need to still click on this first day access menu, and then what you're going to do is it'll take you in and give you the choice of either enrolling or opting out. Make sure you opt out, or otherwise you'll be charged for the textbook even if you get an extra one. So I don't want any bad situation from that. However, if you do get first day access and you click on this link, it's going to take you in where they essentially give you this long code where you want to either copy and paste that or write it down so that you can enter it into MyLab in just a little bit. Now, I'll talk about that shortly, but that will be sort of how you redeem your purchase of the textbook and get access to the e-text. So let me go back a little bit here to where we were at. Start here, tab, and we were talking about how to get the textbook. Now, If you want to go ahead and redeem this code, what you'll want to do is click on the MyLab link right underneath First Day Access. Now mine's going to do a little bit different than yours. I expect you'll do this at first where it'll give you a choice because with MyLab you have a lot of different things you can access. You could access our e-textbook, you could access all the assignments, you could go to sort of a home page in MyLab that kind of gives you an idea of the calendar for things when things are due. I don't use all these by any means, but let's say you wanted to start the homework assignments. Well, you'd click on the all assignments. It wouldn't take you here the first time though. What I've done is I have linked Blackboard that we use with MyLab so that you don't have to log in twice every time you try and get to your homework. So what would have happened, I expect for you, is you would have seen a pop-up from Pearson and they would be asking you if you'd like to set up an account. So you need to get an email address, you need to get a password, make sure you write these down somewhere or there's something you can remember. I urge you to use your USI email. You want to get in the habit of checking that anyway. That's how I'm going to communicate with you through the semester and it's just a good habit, okay? So you set up your account with MyLab and then they're going to ask you to redeem a code that gives you access to MyLab, the homework, the quizzes, as well as a copy of the e-text. So then after you've done all that, you'll be able to start seeing homework and tests and all that. If you have any trouble with that, please let me know. But that's really kind of the really two big things here to get our course going. Get access to your textbook, get yourself set up with MyLab so that you can do the homework through the semester. Now, let me go on back to start here there. Once you've done those two items, you can take a look at the course calendar because schedules, you got to know when the test days are, you got to know when the homeworks are due. I've got a discussion using VoiceThread of what to expect. Take a look at it. Make sure that your work calendar doesn't have any conflicts with any test dates or homework discussion questions, whatever it might be. Don't wait to the last minute to discuss an issue with me on scheduling. There is some flexibility built into the schedule, so listen to that VoiceThread. I'll discuss what I'm talking about. And if you remember earlier, whenever I logged on to this, I said this VT back here is sort of a nice thing to remember. If you're having troubles viewing these VoiceThreads, if you open that first, then select these, it seems like it runs a little better if you've already accessed VoiceThread. It may not be an issue, but if it does, open VoiceThread, then try and view these discussions that I've posted. So once you've got that kind of that core finished, you can start to look at the third tab. You may or may not have to go through this. If you want some practice creating a comment on a VoiceThread because maybe you've never used VoiceThread before, there are some tutorials here. If you keep on working your way down that Start Here tab, you may or may not need to have this tutorial with MyMathLab. If you've already set that up, you can go ahead and let that be. Zoom is something that you may want some help with because that's how we're going to conduct our office hours or have meetings if you need them. Okay? So just some technology tools. I am still here to help you with them. If you have any questions, you can send me an email and let me know. We could conference about that if we want. Zoom seems to be getting a lot of use these days, so maybe that is something that you're familiar with. So once you've got the technology done, you got your course book, got your MyLab set up, introduce yourself to the class. Here's another opportunity to use VoiceThread. So what I would urge you to do is you could either maximize this or leave it as is. And then what you do is you see this, there's this plus sign here underneath. You can click the plus. You need to sign in if you don't have VoiceThread going, or just go ahead and sign in, period. Let's see here if it'll do it for me nicely. Now I'm going to have more options here than you have because this is a professor. And it should just be taking you, oh, I'm sorry, I picked the wrong class. Pardon me. So you would want to be selecting that student introductions. And just to make sure we're clear here, pardon me, you don't want to hear me talking twice. Clicking this plus at the bottom, you've got a choice of either writing in some text introducing yourself, or you can record a comment. You don't have to include video whenever you're doing comments. That's not necessary. But tell us a little bit about yourself. In the health professions, what's your area of specialty? How long have you worked there? What populations have you worked with? You're in the degree program here at USI. What is it? Respiratory? Is it something with nursing? Is it something with radiology? I know sometimes it's hard to introduce yourself. Just kind of follow the prompts I've given you here, and then let me know what your comfort level is with mathematics as well. So let me back out here a little bit. VoiceThread, there's a little bit of an idea of what it looks like, how to get in there to it. But once you finish with these, you're kind of ready to start up the class. And what I mean by that is module number 1. With each of these modules, I have a common structure. The first thing you'll see is sort of the learning objectives. After that, I'll give you access to the e-text. So let me select this as well. Sometimes there's questions about how to access that, how to get into what you need. So once you've got your MyLab account set up, those links within Blackboard should take you in without you having to log in again. So if you click the e-text, it takes you right here, and it really seems like a strange place to start. Look up here at these 3 horizontal lines, this menu. It's going to give you the opportunity to look at the table of contents that way. And it's a little strange, right? That's how it shows up. And let's think here. I think one of the first things that we do happens to be a little bit with basics of statistical analysis. So the names that they have within the table of contents will match up with what I've posted in the course calendar. So click on that. It'll take you right where you need. However, you might be wanting to look at page numbers, and you'll notice on the left here, there's 23. The page numbers are posted in this as well. This e-text is kind of strange, right? You got an e-text where the page numbers fit in. Well, they'll put them on the left side, so you could kind of scroll through the e-text till you see the page number that you need on the left side of the page. I'm expecting there's also an option of going ahead and maybe searching for something in the text or looking for a certain page number. Lots of different ways to do that, but I find that when students first log in to the e-text, sometimes it's a little strange. Where are they starting? That menu up there, those 3 horizontal lines, get you to the table of contents. That'll get you going. Okay, so after the e-text, I've got a collection, another folder within here of all the online assessments with their due dates for the semester. So keep an eye on those. And I've also got another link here to the assignments that are due within that module. The discussion question, now that's something that might be a little new for you in a math class. Just kind of a quick overview of it for each module, except for the third one. I asked you to discuss how the objectives or the goals for the particular module show up in your work experience. That may seem a little strange at first, but I've dealt with a lot of students who've had to do something with temperature conversion, something with dosage calculations. It's not as unusual as you might expect. So giving me some details, giving me some numbers I can check to make sure you're calculating correctly. Discuss an application of the ideas you've learned inside this VoiceThread discussion board so that I can make sure you're learning how to apply your knowledge or recognize that you're already applying it. Now, if I go back here within the module, once we finish up with these online assessments, I have a practice exam. I've got one set up for every one of our modules except for number 4, because number 4, we're not going to take an exam. There's just not enough time. It's really just some essential questions that I provide so that you can get ready for the final. You will not always see this where this says exam number 1 down here. It will show up on testing days, and I will discuss more about testing as we get close. I will say this though, you do not have to find outside proctors for tests. I will be your proctor. You will schedule with me. We will use Zoom for exams. And what I will do is monitor you using Zoom as you take your exam. Okay. If you have more questions about that, let me know, but I do plan to discuss more of that as we go. When we first start the class, there's so many things to do. So for right now, I want to make sure we're getting your textbook, getting your MyLab access setting up, all those things so that then say about Wednesday of the first week of class, then we can really iron out all the details about our first exam. Um, I do have a little bit of extra resources, some Khan Academy videos from time to time for each module. Sometimes I even post my own notes, lecture notes inside of a module. Kind of depends on what students need, at least what they've needed over the past. I don't mind creating new things if that is a desire on a student's part. So going on to module two, you're going to see these same kind of setups. There's a conversion sheet, a little bit extra in module two that I provide and we use throughout the whole course, but you're going to notice the same structure: learning goals, access to your textbook, then a folder with all your online assessments, practice exam. Later on, we'll have a folder for our exams when we take those. Shows up with module three, module four. So that's kind of how this module area works. Exam keys. It's empty right now. We haven't taken any exams, but as soon as we finish an exam, I will post the exam as well as a key to it with likely a VoiceThread discussion of the common mistakes. Your exams will turn into study guides for the final exam. So I got practice exams for each individual module, but I don't have a practice for the final because I want you to go back, look at your old exams, learn from your mistakes, and then you're prepared for the final. As you look down through underneath tools, we discussed sort of this first two, but check grades. I'll keep your grades on Blackboard updated. Usually by the end of each module, you'll have your overall grade, your letter grade, say in the syllabus when to expect homework assignments, discussion questions, all that to go in. But what I want you to think about here, this overall average letter grade, that will be updated at the end of each module, after each test. I'll give you an idea how you're standing for the whole course, okay? And check those as frequently as you need. You have questions, let me know. The next item down here, graded items, I've got all these names of students in my class, but when you click on it, I expect you will only see your folder. At least if you're seeing other people's folders, send me an email. It's not my intent for everyone to see that. In this online environment, I need a way to hand back exams, hand back discussion questions with feedback. So what I've done here is I've created folders that only you should be able to access. They're private to you. So Vanessa, pardon me using you as an example here, but if you click on the link, it's going to take you to Office 365 with SharePoint. And what you'll notice through the semester, there'll be files that go in here, say discussion number one, rubric, or exam number one, graded exam. You will see PDF files posted in here so that you can look over the mistakes you made, the comments I posted on there, as well as your overall grade on the particular assignment. So I will not be sending files through email. I will be posting them in this graded items area so that you can look at them at your convenience. Textbook errors. Sometimes I get questions from students. They think there might be something up with a question in the back of the textbook, because as you look through the textbook, when you look at practice sets, the odd numbers will have their solutions in the back of the text. Every now and then there's an error. I've reported this to the publisher. Hopefully in the next edition these will be fixed, but I found some errors. If you find something, let me know. I think I've worked through them all and found them all, but that's a tedious chore. If you find something that seems out of place, let me know. Technology support, send email. You probably won't use those a whole lot. I'm going to create a contact list for all of us so that you'll get an email from me. If you just hold on to that, you can reply as you need. That wraps it up, to be honest with you. I didn't want this to be a long video, but if you've got more questions, let me know. I'm opening this the Wednesday before class starts in an effort to make sure you have enough time to get everything ready. We have 7 weeks in a day. That moves quickly. So stay on top of things. One good thing about this class, I know we got COVID in the background, but online classes doesn't really affect us quite as much. However, if you do get sick, you let me know. I can still be flexible, but you don't have to worry about going in person, that whole possible exchange of germs at work. So I know this has been a difficult time, but there are some positive benefits to this online learning environment. We'll get through this together, and I really do look forward to teaching you. So let me stop sharing here and end this on out and wish you a good semester.